Alright, everyone, I am back, and it is time for us to check out how the plots have merged here. Let us speak to Kryl. And this one is called In the Dark of the Tower. Since there has been progress in both investigations, shall we share the findings from our respective locales?
Your time in Thavnir has certainly been eventful. In my opinion, carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their grand undertaking, we have all but exhausted our avenues of investigation. Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the ethereal sea connection by way of a letter to Master Matoya, then make our way to Thavnir.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower? According to Orenvold and Fodola's report, they were unable to free the Emolja. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Ifrit.
What does it tell us that the Spires even have such defenses? Simply pulling a prisoner from the wall is fatal, thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary. Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders will be met with overwhelming force.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained, and I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within. Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope, and I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Ishtola's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Urianger, Kryl, Yostola, and myself. The remaining scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodra by a considerable margin.
Are you sure Alphino is in the right group? Actually, no, I want to see what he can do. What if Alize? She knows a healing spell or two.
That she does. But I think Alize herself would assert that she's at her best when she's charging onto the breach. And from what I recall from the Grand Cosmos, there's a spring in her step when she fights by your side.
Ye gods, will you never let me hear the end of that? Rest assured that I will do what is asked of me, regardless of who I happen to be standing next to at any given time.
It seems we have a plan. All that remains is to carry it out. I will inform Radz-at-Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
The military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging point.
That sounds perfect. And remember, the experimental aetheryte at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
Just watch your landing on the way out. You might need to have a drink. Alright, so we're off to the Great Work. That appears to be the closest aetheryte. And it's at this point where I'm going to have to switch back to Paladin, since this quest is a level 81 quest. But I'm still going to keep my eye out to see if there's anything where I can boost my experience on Ninja, maybe get a little bit more going there. I am curious if there are any sightseeing logs around. So where am I on the marks here? Okay, so there's one left, and okay, so it looks like Garlemald's gonna be the next zone after this, then. What about any logs here? Yeah, I don't see anything that's gonna give me a bunch of experience. And I still got half a level to go anyway. Ah, our friend of Eorzea. We've been expecting you. You and yours will lead the mission into the tower, I'm told. Rewarding scales will be delivered soon. Till then, please stand by at the boat we have readied. When your fellows arrive, I will direct them to join you. We pray for your safety and success. If this is the future of aetheryte travel, I think I'll stick to boats. No warning, however emphatic, could have prepared me for that. On account of which we are a little late, but fighting fit. Mostly. My friends, permit me to thank you for accepting this mission. You must be, we should still call you Varshan, I suppose. Indeed. It would not do to confuse our soldiers. Very well then. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warding scales. Please convey as much to His Excellency. One for each of you. Please accept them with my blessings. Our thanks. With these, we can go anywhere those with the Blessing of Light can go. Not only for this operation either, but all the ones to come. We can finally break your monopoly on primals. Come to think of it, shouldn't I get one of those as well, just in case Hydaelyn's protection happens to go away? I wouldn't mind carrying on as before, you know. Spoken like our champion. Rest assured we'll ever have need of you, though we will do what we can to lighten your burden. If everyone is amenable to it, let us review the strategy for good measure. As previously agreed, we will divide into 2 groups. Prince and his band will break through the tower's defenses and locate its core. Meanwhile, the rest of us will tend to the prisoners, who will doubtless want for healing due to the duress of repeated summonings. The primals which the tower bringeth forth shall be deities of Thavnirian myth. As we have no prior experience with such foes, pray exercise the utmost caution when confronting them. We commence the operation at your word, my friend. For the people of Thavnir, nay, the entire world, we must prevail. Dungeon time! The Tower of Zot now accessible. Alright, let's form a party. Foul place, this. Let us proceed with caution. One group down. Ah! I always wondered what these guys would look like in 3D compared to what we saw in Final Fantasy IV.
This will hurt.
You cannot stop us!
I sense a great surge of aether, as if a summoning hath begun. Look, those beastly masks. It's the Manusa come to life. We will focus on sustaining the Akarsodra. The rest of you must keep going, onwards and upwards.
You cannot stop
This will
us!
hurt.
I have you now.
Not bad so far. Another of these big guys. That looks like a boss arena over there.
You underestimate me.
Alright, we've got Minerva first. Interesting mechanic.
I have you now.
Ah, so that's how that works.
All or nothing! Got you!
You underestimate me!
Oh, Estinian's got an extra buff there. Shadow of the Dragon. Alright, first boss down. Probably not gonna be anything for me. Nope. In fact, thinking about it, let me go ahead and get rid of it. More tempered Imperials.
There! Got you!
I have you now!
Got you!
Zot? Umbril. Interesting looking creature there. You know what? Let's see if we can do a double.
You underestimate me!
That went pretty well.
cannot stop us!
Alright, finish him off, please, team. Alright, that's that group down. Sandaruva is next. Alright.
On guard!
So be it, Alice. She's similar to a dragoon. Okay, we need to head over here.
All or nothing!
There!
This will hurt.
Alright, we'll be frozen in time when the countdown reaches 0. Okay. In that case, let me do a buff now. There we go. Alright, confusion. Confused and unable to accurately perceive surroundings. Yeah, you had to look for the one that was being normal there.
This will hurt.
Alright, we got another stop coming. And another round of confusion. You.
Let's give them a show!
And down they go. Let's grab one more. What happened to the healing? Let's try that again.
Have you?
You underestimate me!
This will hurt.
What might have happened is Alphino may not have actually kept up and just simply kept attacking enemies instead. Alright, I'm gonna hang on to that for just a moment until we get out of the dungeon. Ah, can't get through. Alright, let's grab this one. I'm gonna walk back to where Alphino would be.
I have you now!
I'm in your
I have you
debt.
now!
Oh, Alphino. At least somebody resurrected him. It's better AI than back in Shadowbringers.
You're mine! There!
Final boss time. No matter the cost, we must protect the tower. And of course, these are the Mega Sisters. Perhaps a little bit different from our encounter in Final Fantasy IV. But still them nonetheless.
Nothing!
I wish they would come just slightly closer.
a show!
So far, it's not that bad in terms of seeing through their patterns here. But you're definitely being a bit more reactive than I think you typically have been in prior dungeons. Maybe it's just me though.
Nothing!
That's one down. That's two.
This will hurt.
And there goes the last one. Alright, duty complete. That seems to have been the limit of the tower's defenses. They were nimble fighters, I'll give them that. From what I can tell, the summonings appear to be over. No relief. Alze, what'd you say? Great, I'm only getting Alphino's line. Oh well.
Is everyone all right?
We fortified the captives with what magics we could. Have the defenses been disabled? All appears quiet for the moment.
The lower floors were disturbing enough, but this place feels wrong. The ether is heavy and thick, like wading through a quagmire.
I believe we stand in the tower's beating heart. What sayest thou, Y'shtola?
I see it. Ether siphoned from the land runs up through the spire, flowing to a single point. This is the core we seek. Yet something is off. As large as this structure is, it siphons far more ether than is required to sustain it.
Could be the primals.
'Tis as if the core is feeding on the energy, consuming it. I need to take a closer look.
Or something inside.
Curious. There is something there embedded inside the core. A man's limb.
This is what we came to destroy?
Yes, if you would be so kind.
And that should be the end of it.
What now?
It might be collapsing.
My theory that the tower might come crashing down following the core's destruction doth appear to be correct.
Bully for you! And how are we supposed to survive the fall?
What of the prisoners below?
The floor beneath our very feet dissolves. Brace yourselves!
I pray I'm not too late.
What happened? Where are we?
And are they dead or alive?
By my reckoning, we're still on the island where the tower stood. But 'tis as if it never existed. Hardly a scratch. But how?
Raha.
Raha wove a levitation spell at the last moment. Large enough to catch everyone, it would seem.
That explains the lack of obvious injuries.
The expenditure of so much ether has taken its toll. He will need plenty of rest, but should otherwise be none the worse for wear.
Then the immediate problem is what to do with our new friends here. They'll be much changed for their time in the tower. Even if their bodies are intact, I doubt we could say the same for their minds.
Who's got a
Angelo
porksy?
and I will take care of that.
I have every faith in you, Alize, but there are just too many for you to treat alone.
We'll send at once to Eorzea for more porksies, and call on the local mages to lend a hand.
Hail, scions! We were watching the tower when it simply disappeared. What happened here?
The threat is banished, and thy people delivered. They are, however, in need of treatment, and we of a secure locale and helping hands to assist us in its provision.
You shall have all this and more. Come, let us convey these unfortunate souls to the city.
Alright, dungeon complete. And I just want to check something real quick here. If I go like this, and then I go... Yep, I knew it. I had to switch over to this class to do this. Alright, let's see. Where was that? Here we go. And that gives my crafting armor class a little experience boost as well. Okay. The liberated prisoners are being transported to Radz-at-Han for treatment. Alizé and Y'shtola will oversee the administration of the tempering treatment, with support from those who know a healing spell or two. We'll go and join them in the city once you've had a moment to catch your breath. You may now enter the Tower of Zot with a party of NPC avatars. To make use of this feature, open the Trust interface located in the Duty menu. Now... but I can't bring them in as avatars yet because I gotta level them up, apparently. Actually, wait a moment.
I stand ever ready.
Right then.
Victory will be ours!
Oh, actually, I do have a full party if I wanted to do it. Okay, cool. Had enough rest, have you? You were never one for being idle. Right. Varshan bade us come to Megaduta at our earliest convenience. The others will join us once they have finished tending to the prisoners. Wait. On second thought, you and Estinian should go on ahead. I need to make a quick detour by the Great Work. We left G'raha in the alchemist's care, you see. Best to fetch him before he's crammed into a specimen jar. Just you and me, then. The guardsmen at the gate should wave us through. And that takes us to the east again. Nah, I don't think I'm gonna go for that one. That's a bit out of the way. But I will at least grab whatever this space is here for the map. It's a quiet evening on the road for certain. There's a lookout spot over there. Let me grab that. Oh no, actually that's an aether current. I'm curious how many of these I actually need. Okay, actually a bunch. Alright, let us speak to this guardsman here. Honored Scions, you are free to enter at your leisure. As I cannot leave my post, I'm afraid you must make your own way. Should you require directions in the city, the sentry stationed at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. Though I have been to Radz-at-Han before, this place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we had best ask for directions from this sentry at the fountain. Lead the way, and don't expect me to act as your tour guide like certain others. Now Estinian is accompanying us. Ah, Master Prince, I presume. I understand you're here for an audience with the satrap. If you require directions to the Mega Duta, I should be glad to provide them. The satrap's residence is situated in Dharma, the highest part of Radz-at-Han. To get there, I would ordinarily recommend a route that takes you by the bazaars in the city's north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed, and the Aetherite disabled. As such, I will provide you with an alternate path. First, please ascend the steps next to this fountain, then continue left. There will be more steps, and upon ascending them, you will emerge on Paxa's path. Proceed through the large door on the right, and you will arrive at Ruveda Fibers. Within, you will find another sentry who will give you further guidance. In other words, we head up. Sounds straightforward enough. Let's see what Estinian has to say about this over here. Ah yes, I know about this portal. It leads to a nearby isle, the treasure vault of one of Radz-at-Han's wealthiest families. They took the god of luck for their guardian, on account of which they occasionally open up a section of their vaults for aspiring treasure hunters to try their own luck, or so they say. There are also coffers hidden across the land that act as portals. Find one and you gain access to the vault. Something to bear in mind in case you exhaust your funds while on the road. 'Tis a troublesome experience, as I can personally attest. So, then I guess this is the XIV here? According to the message on the base, this Aetherite has been temporarily disabled. Okay, so it looks like we actually have to head this way then. Heading to Megaduta, are you? In that case, please follow this hallway to my right and go through the door at the top of the stairs. You'll emerge at the entrance to the airship landing, where another sentry should be on hand to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps to either side of me, you'll find the workshop's Ruveda Fibers. Though you're free to observe the artisans, take care not to lose your way. Well, let's take a look here. Ah! We have another lookout point here. Let's see. Looks like for this one... I just back off slowly. There we go. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for the best. That aside, we're not here for an airship. We have business at Megaduta. Oh, in that case, permit me to direct you. From here it's quite simple, really. Ascend these steps, and then continue straight ahead and across the bridge. You cannot miss it. Another one. Oh wait, can I go along this? Alright, that doesn't work. Or maybe I need to catch it at a different angle. There we go. I remember passing by here with Varshan. The situation as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life has yet to return to normal here, but when it does, you ought to pay another visit. Though the city is confusing, the food is quite good. I'm partial to Hamsa myself. The meat's surprisingly tender and flavorful. Squawk, squawk. Is this just gonna say the same thing? Yeah, it is. Wasn't sure what really triggered that. Alright, let's grab this Aethernet shard. Greetings and welcome to Megaduta. May I inquire after your business? We are members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, come at the invitation of His Excellency. Ah, of course, we have been expecting you. I will show you into the audience chamber, if you would follow me, please. Rooks, to a degree, I would say maybe you do kind of need to design your own UI a little bit. All the tools you need to do it are definitely there.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Radz-at-Han.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia.
So now we'll be able to give this to other Scions as well as potentially the Grand Company leaders as well.
Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
As well as the heads of state.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radz-at-Han will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
'Tis of no moment. A mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
Well, if we're bringing up old conflicts, there's also the matter of your other brother and sister, Bahamut and Titania. Or Tiamat, rather.
Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay. When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift. Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydaelyn to whom you must look for answers.
I wonder if that line changes if you haven't completed the Omega
Seek
raids.
to divine the will of this star. If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. 'Tis a story from my youth, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsormr did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed so long as Hydaelyn endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since. Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydralyn does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
I also wonder if this scene... Yeah, if you haven't completed that raid, somebody might be speaking up right now, actually.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
What, you don't want to go journeying with us? Oh, you meant everybody leaving.
Prithee, a moment. There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee.
Ah, that's the difference here. I only wish he could be with us now.
I know of his clash with Omega, and the long slumber which was his price. Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsormr's trust. But alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without a cease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence. Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
The twins. And with this being the Final Fantasy IV themed expansion, of course I have to make mention of Palom and Porom and what eventually happened to them. At least for a time. But we'll see if something like that happens to these two.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
'Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
Alright, let us speak to Alisaie here. So, what were you and Vritra talking about? Nothing? Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead to the High Crucible. Let's catch up to them. Warrior job questline is definitely hilarious. I completely agree with you there. The attendant was kind enough to give me directions to the High Crucible. First, let us return to the Mulberry Orchard. I do have to wonder if Square Enix does have sort of a victory lap planned for us or not. Oh, actually, I've never encountered that before because my character isn't married. Okay, let me get this here. That's not the right one. Okay. I'm curious, is this a fast exit out of here? Nope. Who knows if there's actually going to be victory here. For all we know, the timeline could jump ahead 5 years with the end of the last quest, or something like that. From here, we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. Where the street turns, enter the door straight ahead, then descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Radz-at-Han. The architecture and decorations make it even harder to get your bearings. Anyway, let us see where this door takes us. Let me grab this one here. I think I see a quest over there. Yep. That is going to be for crafters, as well as gatherers, I suspect. So I might as well unlock that first here. Oh ho, you must be Prince. Mistress Rowena told me all about you. Says you're quite the renowned armorer. The name's off Pilona, by the way. The mistress has charged me with managing her Radz-at-Han branch. Looking forward to doing business with you. Which isn't to say I've got anything special to ask of you. All I mean is that your business is just as welcome here as it is at any other House of Splendors. Of course, I'd certainly prefer you do more of your business here than anywhere else. Esteemed clients like yourself will attract even more customers, you see. And if we keep drawing in business at a good clip, before long we'll have to rebrand as Off Pilona's House of Splendors. That old witch won't know what hit her. Don't you worry about that last part. Just peruse our wares and buy something if it strikes your fancy. Alright, so we've got a new kind of script here, which is purple script. Then we've also got the white script as well. And then, of course, all the master recipes and such. And then you got the collectible appraiser here. And you can definitely get a good amount of experience from them here. And then we have a Splendor's vendor over here, fieldcraft items. Okay, so this is the folklore books. Materia vendor. And this is just a regular merchant. All stuff I'll have to come back to eventually. Alright, let us proceed with the main scenario quest. And here is the Aetheryte Plaza. So far so good, and there isn't much further to go. From here, we just need to cross to the other side of the hull, then pass through the larger of the two doorways. The High Crucible lies beyond. I suspect the others have already collected the warding scales. Come, let us join them. I suspect this is still unavailable. Yep. Thank credit, Rianger. You took your time. Got turned around, I take it. Though this land hath been afforded a respite, in turmoil do many others languish still. Our work is far from finished. We're last, of course, but at least we found the place.
These are the talismans we were promised.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for. Enough to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations. Of course, we would need to consult with various Alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Please, I must speak with you.
Hello, I see you're up and about.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Thavnir from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? Is this true?
Indeed it is. And yeah, we might be seeing Gaiaths in the future. If he's still not in
I was
World.
so groggy from sleep, I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
A flower.
Look at that! Its color is completely changed.
What do you have there? How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Hanish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions. Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities.
That's true. Especially in certain story scenarios, yes.
That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
My question becomes, though, is this Akasha the same or different from the Echo?
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research.
Oh, I think I remember what you're talking about. You're either talking about Frey, or you're talking about, who was it? There was some girl that you had to escort around. I can't remember the quest off the top of my head.
Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
Shall we depart for Sharlayan, then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the Annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
I'm still gonna keep going for a while here. Let us head back to the Baldesion Annex at this point. I guess we are staying here for the time being instead of heading back to the Rising Stones. Oh, that's right, there's a Nathanite chart over there. I was kind of gathering my strength for this, yeah. Oh, I guess it's not in here. Alright, Kryl. It's good to be back, and with the fruit of our labors safely in storage. For now, we have but to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings with the Alliance leaders. As Thancred suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. Welcome back, Prince. Kryl has apprised me of your recent accomplishments. What an amazing feat to eliminate a tower and pave the way to deal with the rest. Well, it isn't much. I've changed your sheets and plumped up your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing into a nice clean bed after completing a major milestone, be it penning a thesis or defeating deiform entities. So, would you like to take a look at your new and improved lodgings now? Sure. I have no idea on that one, Rooks. And no, I don't think they forgot Fan Daniel.
Take heart and protect them well.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
Yeah, it seems like this is a party. Nice burger. Not a pickle fan, huh?
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Kryl, I hear you recently played literal host to Hydaelyn herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Hydaelyn instructed you to carry that flower, yes?
Indeed.
'Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radz-at-Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn, I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans.
I could see that about Estinian.
But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Oh.
Are we pushing on until dawn?
I'm not that ambitious. But 'tis pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
And it changes color once again. Xenos.
Ah! Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that.
It's an interesting theme to play here, the Aetherial Chemical Research Facility music.
I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon the ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is... equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke.
That he is.
But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow, until the void yawned once more. And then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn. Burn. Let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Yeah, no kidding. He just wants to fight us again. That's for certain.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
That's the hope, anyway, yeah, that it will be crushed. Alright, I'm just gonna head inside here real quick. Alright, and so with that, the first, I guess, chapter of the story is now complete. And I guess the question is gonna be, how quickly are we going to move on Garlemald here? So, with that said, at this point, I do want to take a little bit of a longer break, so I can grab a quick bite to eat and such. So, I'm going to keep the stream going here, but this will be a little bit of a longer break here. I'd say no more than 30 minutes, but definitely this is going to be a longer break. So, stand by, everyone. I will be back as soon as I can here.